"That's my daddy! Why is he in a cage?" The girl asked the judge. The gavel hit wood, sharp and final. Then silence. The judge's voice was dry. "The matter of State versus Elijah Boone." A door slammed open. A girl's voice, high and small, cut the air like a blade. "That's my daddy. Why is he in a cage?" Heads turned. Gasps caught in throats. One woman rose but didn't move. One man muttered, "Lord." The girl ran, red boots scuffing the floor. She couldn't have been more than 8. Freckles, mismatched coat. She stopped at the railing, eyes locked on the man behind the bars. "Daddy?" Eli Boone blinked once. Rough face, rougher hands. He stood but didn't speak. The girl stepped closer. "Why'd they lock you up?" "You didn't do nothing." A woman chased in after her, breathless. Clara, stop." Clara didn't stop. She stared at her father like the world had tilted. June pulled her back gently, arms tight around her. "This isn't where you're supposed to be, but he's my daddy." The courtroom held still. No one spoke. The bailiff looked at the judge. The sheriff leaned forward. The judge cleared his throat. "That child needs to leave." Clara's voice cracked. "Why is he in a cage?" Eli Boone finally spoke, low, steady. "You shouldn't be here, baby. Did you do something bad?" "No." June pulled harder. "Come on now." "But why? Why does he look like that?" The judge stood. "Remove them." The sheriff didn't move. Clara turned to the judge. "Aren't you supposed to help people?" The judge froze. "Just for a second. Ma said you used to be kind." June's face went pale. "Clara, you used to come by the house," Clara said. "I remember your voice." The judge's jaw tightened. "This is not the time." Eli stepped to the bars. "Clara, go with your mama." Clara stared at him. "Do you remember the red scarf I lost?" "You said you'd find it." He nodded once. Her lip trembled. "Did you lie about that too?" June scooped her up, turned and walked. The room stayed frozen until the door clicked shut. The judge sat again, slower this time. He wiped his brow. "Proceed," he said, but no one moved. Eli Boone never took his eyes off the door. Neither did the sheriff. Outside, the wind picked up. Inside, nothing moved at all. June pulled Clara out fast, her grip tight and shaking. The door swung shut behind them, muting the courtroom buzz. Clara twisted in her arms, feet dragging in the dirt. "You lied to me." June didn't answer. "You said he was dead." "He was," June said, voice flat. "To me he was." Clara stopped walking. "So he's not a bad man." June crouched down, eyes level. "He's complicated. Did he hurt someone?" June paused. "Yes." Clara blinked. "You?" June looked away. "Let's go home." "But I don't want to." "Clara, he said he didn't do anything." June stood again. "He says a lot of things." They passed a man leaning against the courthouse steps. Hat low, cigarette lit. He didn't speak, just watched. Another woman whispered to her friend across the street. The gas station clerk peeked out his window, phone in hand. Clara tugged at her sleeve. "Why are they looking at us?" June kept walking. "Because people like to look when they don't understand something." "He's my daddy," Clara said. "They shouldn't look." June stopped at the curb. "Stop saying that." "But it's true." I said stop. Clara went quiet. Across the street, Sheriff Darren lit another match. His stare was steady, unreadable. June didn't look at him. Clara whispered, "Do you still love him?" June's face tightened. "Love doesn't matter." "Not anymore." "But he remembered me." "No, he remembered a baby." "Not you." Clara stepped back. "You don't even say his name." "I don't say names that bring trouble." The church bell rang once. Sharp and cold. June looked up, eyes wet. Inside the courthouse, Judge Merrin stood by the window. He watched June like he was watching a ghost come to life. "She came back," he muttered. The bailiff behind him cleared his throat. "Sir?" The judge didn't move. "Nothing." He watched until June disappeared down the street with the girl. Then he sat, hands trembling. Outside, the sheriff flicked ash to the dirt and turned toward the well behind the old church. No one followed. No one ever did. The gate creaked louder than usual. Judge Merrin paused. Something white was stuck in the iron mesh. No stamp, no name. Just his name scrawled in ink he didn't recognize. He opened it on the porch. First the photo, black and white with curled edges. Eli Boone, no more than 9. Mud on his knees. One eye swollen shut, then the dull, burned, melted face. red string tied around its neck. Last was the Bible page, torn at the edges. One verse circled in red, neat and slow. The sins of the father shall be visited upon the children. He didn't move for a long time. Inside, the house smelled like pine smoke and old paper. He set the items on the table, careful not to touch the doll again. He poured a drink, sat, stared. Outside, dogs barked far off. Rain whispered against the windows. The fire hissed. He took a breath. Why now? No one answered. He stood, walked to the hearth, and tossed the envelope into the flames. The paper caught fast. The doll didn't burn, just blackened deeper. His hand trembled. He clenched it into a fist. Upstairs, the floor creaked, though no one else lived there. He didn't look. Instead, he crossed the hall and opened the door to his study. The room smelled like dust and lemon oil. He flicked on the lamp. Light hit the wooden desk, still cluttered with case files and an old broken pen. He opened the drawer. Inside, a revolver sat wrapped in cloth. Beside it, another photo. 3 people, Eli, smaller, younger, June smiling in a faded dress. He himself, hand on Eli's shoulder like he belonged there. He stared at it, then at the gun, then back at the fire across the hall. He didn't sleep that night, didn't move from the chair, just listened to the house breathe. Every creak, every whisper of wind, and somewhere between night and morning, something shifted in his face. Not regret, not guilt, but something colder. The metal door buzzed open. June stepped into the dim hallway, heels echoing sharp against the floor. The deputy didn't speak, just nodded toward the back. She passed 2 empty cells before stopping at the third. Eli Boone sat on the bench, head low, hands wrapped around his knees. He didn't look up. "You look smaller than I remember," she said. He said nothing. June folded her arms. "You gonna talk?" Still nothing. "I didn't come for apologies." "Good," he muttered. She stepped closer to the bars. "She saw you yesterday." He looked up. "I know." She asked questions. She should. June's voice dropped. "You've got no right." Eli leaned forward. "She deserves to know what you did." June snapped back. "What you did." A long silence. Rain started tapping the tin roof above. "You left," he said. "I had to." She was 3. She doesn't remember. She does now. June's jaw clenched. "You think I wanted her to see you like this? I think you didn't want her to know who she came from. I protected her." Eli stood. "You erased me." "You lit the fire." He stepped closer to the bars. "I didn't. You expect me to believe that now?" "I expect you to ask why they blamed me so fast." The hallway lights flickered once. Thunder rumbled somewhere close. Behind them, the sheriff stood against the wall, arms crossed, silent, watching. June's voice cracked. "You were dangerous, Eli. You were scared. Of what?" He didn't answer. A shadow moved outside the barred window. Small face. "Big eyes, Clara," June whispered. Eli didn't turn. "She followed you." June stepped back. "She shouldn't be here. I didn't bring her." Outside, Clara pressed her hand to the glass. Eli reached into his pocket, pulled out a small key, held it through the bars. June hesitated. "I kept it," he said. "For what?" "She'll need it." June stared at the key, then at him. The sheriff didn't move. Clara didn't blink. Outside, the wind rose. Inside, nothing was finished. Clara slipped out before dawn. No coat, no shoes, just the key. She walked past the diner, past the church, down the road where the asphalt cracked and weeds swallowed the shoulder. No one stopped her. The sky stayed low and grey. She crossed the dry creek and climbed the slope where the Boone Ranch used to sit. The house was gone, just a black skeleton of beams and stone. The earth still smelled like smoke. She stepped over the char line, past the fallen chimney, toward the back where the old well house leaned sideways, half-eaten by ivy. She tried the door, locked. She pulled the key from her pocket. It slid in smooth, clicked once. The door moaned open. Inside was dark, wet air, thick and old. She flicked on her flashlight. The beam jittered. Dust floated like breath. A coil of rope hung from a nail, a rusted winch, and on the floor bones, scattered, cracked, yellow-white, a child's shoe in the corner. Blue split at the toe, her light flickered. She stepped back, the rope twitched, she froze. A voice, barely louder than the wind. Clara, her breath caught. She turned. Nothing behind her. The wind moved again. Clara! She dropped the flashlight. It rolled. Lit the well edge. She backed toward the door. Reached for the handle. Missed. Reached again. Found it. Yanked it open. She ran. Didn't look back. Didn't stop. Her lungs burned. Her feet bled. She reached the tree line and fell hard. Gravel tore her knees. She looked up, gasping. A figure stood far. Off in the clearing, not moving, holding something red. The scarf. She blinked hard. Gone. The field was empty, but her hands shook, and the wind still whispered her name. Back at the house, the well house door creaked in the wind. Inside, the flashlight spun once, then stopped, pointing straight down the well. Into nothing. Or something. The shoe hadn't moved, but the rope was gone. Far across town, the courthouse bell rang once. Then again. Off rhythm. Clara stood slowly. She didn't scream, didn't cry. She just turned and walked back the way she came, holding the key tighter than before. June opened the door before he knocked. Rain hit sideways. The judge stood soaked, coat hanging off one shoulder, eyes red. "You drunk?" she asked. "Little," he said. "Little more than little." She stepped aside. "Get in." He dropped his hat on the floor. Rain puddled under his boots. "You always keep the porch light on?" "Just for ghosts." He laughed once, bitter. "You think I'm a ghost. I think you're late." He looked around the small house. "You changed the curtains." "You noticed." "I noticed too damn much." June walked to the stove. "Say what you came to say." He didn't move. "I should have married you." She turned. "I let him win. And now this town, this whole place rots. You're blaming the town now." "I'm blaming me." She walked past him, picked up a bottle, poured 2 glasses. "You're not the victim." "I was scared." "So was I," she said. "But I stayed." "You stayed and chose him." "I didn't choose Eli." He took the drink, swallowed fast. "He chose for all of us." She slapped him. He didn't flinch. "Don't come in here whining about love like it was ever yours to lose. It was always about love." "No," she said. "It was about silence." He dropped into the chair near the fire, wet sleeves steaming. "You still sleep in this room?" "I still bury things in it." They stared into the flames. Logs cracked. Wind howled under the eaves. "Did you ever regret it?" he asked. She didn't answer. He leaned forward. "I kept the picture." "I know. I remember the day it was taken." "So do I." The door creaked open behind them. Clara stood there, soaked, pale, hands shaking. June rushed to her. "What happened?" Clara whispered. "The well." Both adults froze. "There's something in the well," she said. The judge stood. June gripped Clara's arm. "What do you mean?" Clara's lip trembled. "It said my name." The fire popped again. Silence fell. Outside, the rain stopped. Inside, no one moved. The first bang came just after midnight. A dull, muffled thud from the back of the jailhouse. The second was sharper. Windows rattled. A scream followed. By the time Deputy Mace stumbled outside, half the sheriff's office was fire. Flames licked the roof. Smoke poured from the windows. Townsfolk shouted down the street. Someone rang the church bell. Inside, Sheriff Darren lay flat on the floor, shirt torn open, burned hands. Carved across his chest in raw, bloody lines, "The sins of the father shall be visited upon the children." The cell doors hung open. Eli Boone was gone. June ran barefoot through the dark, Clara in her arms. "Where is he?" she shouted. "Where's Eli?" No one answered. Judge Merrin arrived slow, half-dressed, coat thrown over pajamas. He pushed through the crowd, stopped at the edge of the flames. The heat hit his face hard. He didn't blink. Mace shouted, "We need water!" "Where's the sheriff?" Someone yelled. The judge spoke, voice low. "He's inside." Mace turned. "What?" "He's in there, bleeding." "Jesus, this ain't justice," the judge said. "It's reckoning." The roof caved in. Wood snapped like bones. Sparks leapt into the night sky. A woman cried out. Someone dropped to their knees. No sirens came. June stood at the edge, holding Clara tight. The girl whispered, "He's not dead." June looked down. "Clara, he's not dead," she said again. He's watching. Judge Marin looked toward the trees. Smoke rolled across the field. For a moment, through the haze, a figure stood near the tree line. Motionless, Mace saw it too. "Who the hell?" The figure stepped back. Gone. The judge whispered, "He's coming for the rest of us." A wind shifted. The fire roared louder. June backed away. "We need to go," Mace nodded.
Where?
"Anywhere not burning," she said. The bell stopped ringing. The town held still. The jail collapsed in on itself. A final groan. Then silence. The carved words on the sheriff's chest were the last thing anyone saw before the stretcher rolled past. The past wasn't buried. It was awake and burning. They found the footprints just past the ridge. Small ones, Clara's, beside them deeper boots. June ran first. Judge followed. Sheriff Darren limped behind, ribs still bandaged, eyes dull with pain and shame. The barn stood crooked in a hollow of dead trees. No roof, slats peeled open like ribs. Inside, silence. They stepped through the broken doors. Eli stood in the center, gun low. Clara beside him, unharmed, calm. "Put the gun down," the sheriff rasped. Eli didn't move. "We all testified tonight." June took a step. "She's just a child. She's the only innocent one here," Eli said. "Now speak," Judge Marin's voice cracked. "Eli, no more trials behind doors. No more whispering." "Say it," the sheriff leaned on the post. "He's right." "Say it," June's lips parted. "We told them it was you. You told them what they wanted to hear. I saw the flames. I saw her scream. You saw my father's hands," Eli said. The judge stepped forward. "We needed someone to blame. You needed me gone." June shook. "You were trying to protect her." "You always were." Eli's grip tightened. "But you let them cage me." The sheriff looked down. "We all did." Eli turned to him. "He beat me. For years." "I know," the sheriff said. "I helped cover it." "You left a boy with a monster," Eli said. "And then you made me one." Silence fell. Then the judge whispered, "I loved her too." Eli's face broke. "You took everything," June cried now. "I was afraid." Clara stepped between them. "Are you still my daddy?" Eli's hand shook. "I don't know. Do you want to be?" He dropped the gun. The sheriff picked it up slowly. "It's done." "No," Eli said. "It just started." Outside, the wind howled through the trees. Inside, nothing moved. The barn, broken and bleeding light, held the truth in its walls. Not a trial, a reckoning, and every one of them is guilty. The barn door creaked as the wind pushed through again. Judge Marin stepped forward, slow, deliberate. His coat flapped behind him. He reached inside and pulled out a folded paper. Eli didn't move. The judge held it up. "You recognize this?" Eli nodded once. "The land deed. We forged it, I know. We ruined you." Eli lowered the gun. "Then end it." The judge stared at him. "You want that?" "I want it to stop." Silence. Then a shot cracked, not from the judge. June stood behind them, both hands shaking, revolver pointed at the sky. Smoke curled from the barrel. Clara screamed. "Mama!" Eli didn't flinch. The judge turned. "What the hell?" June's voice cut clean. "No more cages." Clara ran to Eli, arms out. "Daddy!" He caught her, held her tight, looked over her shoulder at June. "You missed." "I didn't want to hit." The judge stepped toward her. "You could have killed him." "I almost did." Eli kissed Clara's head. "It ends here." June nodded. "It has to." The paper fluttered in the wind. The barn groaned. The truth, written in ink and silence, lay between them all. Nobody moved. Then Eli handed Clara to June. "I'll walk out alone." June held the girl close. "You sure?" He nodded. "It's the only way forward." The judge folded the paper, tucked it away. "We'll find a new way." Eli looked him in the eye. "We're better." Outside, the trees stood still. Inside, the past finally exhaled. Dawn broke quietly over the courthouse. Empty halls. Doors ajar. Files scattered. The sheriff left his badge on the desk and never came back. Judge Marin walked into the woods with no coat and no farewell. He didn't return. June sat with Clara at the edge of the well, the stone cold beneath them. "Do you believe in ghosts?" Clara asked. June stared into the dark. "I buried mine." A crow landed on the rim. It didn't move. Clara held the Bible page, let it drop into the black below. No more cages, she whispered. The wind listened.